Hey guys, John V from Phone Arena here. You're watching our video review of the Snakebyte Vyper. You're probably wondering what it is. Well, the Snakebyte Vyper is marketed as the world's first 3-in-1 Android tablet, smart TV, and game system, similar to the Nvidia Shield. So there are basically three main components that make up the Snakebyte Vyper. The first one I'm going to talk about here is the 7-inch Android tablet. For being a gaming-centric device, the display is by far the most disappointing part about it. It measures 7 inches in size, 1280 by 800 resolution, so the details are good enough to make out fine things in the web browser, but it's pretty washed out and bland looking. Its design's hardly surprising, straightforward, nothing really exceptional about it, very conventional looking, for the most part very flat. It employs a soft touch matte finish with this very cheap almost metallic back casing, but you could see how easily dense already, and besides that it's pretty much a generic looking tablet. There are quite a few different ports around its trim. So on the bottom side you have this docking port. On the left edge you have the majority of its ports. So you have the micro SD card slot to increase its storage capacity. It comes with 8 GB of storage. You have a mini HDMI port here so you can output it to a TV, and comes with the cable. You have 2 micro USB ports. One of them is a dedicated charging port, the other one being data. 3.5mm headset jack, the microphone. On the top side you have just the power button, the volume controls, and on the front you have a 2 megapixel camera, and towards the side here you have the speaker grill, and finally in the rear you have a 5 megapixel camera with an LED flash. Under the hood, it's powered by a quad-core 1.6 GHz Cortex-A9 processor coupled with 1 GB RAM and a quad-core Mali 400 MP4 graphics processor. The second major component is the Bluetooth gamepad. Connects to the tablet, and it's pretty familiar. If you use a PlayStation or an Xbox controller, you'll fit right in pretty quickly. So it's made out of plastic, lightweight for the most part, decent build quality, and you have a full layout here. So that includes 2 analog sticks in the front, your D-pad, your front buttons, your start, select, your power button. You even have buttons for the Android menu buttons, the back, the home, and even the multitasking. And at the top you have your analog shoulder triggers, and you have your shoulder buttons. And the last piece of the puzzle is the unique Air Mouse Motion Controller. This is not something we typically see with Android tablets, so it's pretty cool that they have this included. So it's similar to a Wiimote on a Nintendo Wii, where you could use it to actually move around or navigate with the interface. So in the front it looks like a generic controller. You have buttons, a directional pad, you have some multimedia controls. You flip it over, you have a full-size QWERTY keyboard, so you could type. They have a little bit of a gummy texture to them, but nice and clicky. Full QWERTY layout, so you could type easily, and it's Bluetooth enabled. And the cool thing about it is that you'll be able to actually navigate and even play certain games using the different air gestures. As expected, the gamepad really helps with the gaming experience, just because you have tight controls, and of course you have a familiar style layout with the control pad as opposed to using the on-screen controls. But as far as the tablet's performance, we gotta say it's not the speediest thing we've seen out there, especially if there's a lot of stuff going on screen. We tend to notice some drop frame rates, and it's not as smooth as we like. But as far as the gamepad's concerned, it's very useful. The controls are pretty tight, and there's minimal lag or delay with its operation between the tablet. Even when we have the tablet docked to a TV and we're playing the game on the big screen, we're pretty pleased with the overall latency. It doesn't seem too bad, and for the most part, it's definitely usable. Like I said earlier, the cool portion about it is the Air Mouse Motion Controller. It works similar to the Nintendo Wiimote, so all you gotta do, you could see as soon as you have it paired, there's a mouse cursor in here, and from here we could use it to actually navigate across the interface, and also works well in some games. Now, obviously it's not as practical to use if you're just using the tablet, but when you have the tablet connected to a television, it really lends its worth, just because you have now the ability to just sit back on the couch, navigate using the Air Remote Air Mouse Motion Controller, and you also have that full-size QWERTY keyboard at your disposal. So if you're surfing the web, something very useful. One game that really takes advantage of the Air Mouse Motion Controller is Angry Birds. So obviously if you have the tablet connected to your television, you could sit back on your couch and you could rely on the Air Mouse controller here to actually do the same thing you'd normally do as if you're using the tablet itself. Unfortunately, we're not fans of the home screen with the Snakebyte Vyper. It's running Android 4.2.2 Jelly Bean, and it's laid out in specific categories. You have your home one here, your app panel, and it's also categorized into video, music, and pictures. It's just kind of messy. It'd have been just nice if they stuck with the stock approach, but nevertheless, it's just nice knowing the fact that it has the Google Play Store, so you have the full arsenal of apps and games you'd find on a Google branded device. One thing that will really entice consumers into picking this up is its low price point. Now, this entire system, the gamepad, the Air Mouse motion controller, the docking station for your television, and the tablet itself, you could pick it all up for $250, which is pretty fantastic considering you have the Google Play Store in tow with the tablet. Seriously though, it's a tough call whether or not you should pick this one up. No doubt it's going to appeal mostly to hardcore gamers just because you get a great system. You have the Air Mouse controller, the gamepad, and the tablet for the low price point. However, our main concern is whether or not it'll be able to handle all the upcoming 3D games out there. Right now, it seems to handle most of the titles pretty well without too much sacrifice with its performance, but down the road, as games become more intensive and more power hungry, who knows whether or not it'll have enough processing power to keep up. So if you guys want to learn more about the Snakebyte Vyper, you could check out our website, phonearena.com. It's John V. Thanks for watching.